What's going on, guys, and welcome to another Doctor Who ranking video. Today I'm going to be ranking the Doctor Who Christmas specials from 2005 to 2017. That is the Christmas Invasion until Twice Upon a Time. So Christmas is just around the corner, and I thought, before we get this year's, what is now a New Year special, I thought I'd do this and go through all the current Christmas specials. Even if we were going to get a Christmas special this year, I would have still done this before Christmas because I wanted to, rank the other ones before we get to the new one. But anyway, this means that we have 13 Christmas specials to go through, so let's get into the ranking. Number 13, The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe. This one is set in one of the World Wars, I'm not sure which one, but basically there's this person called Mad Jarwell, and her husband has supposedly died in the war in a plane crash. She ends up meeting with the Doctor, and he gets this present for her two kids, and it turns out to be kind of this Narnia-esque world. But it turns out that one of the kids, Cyril, the boy, who's probably not a very good child actor, he goes into the present before Christmas on Christmas Eve, and it turns out that in this world there's all these trees that are alive, and there's a big deforestation, I suppose, happening. They're destroying the trees with acid rain. It turns out the trees, they're alive, and they're trying to get away from this place. The way that this whole thing plays out, I think, is a bit dull, and just altogether, especially, how Madge, she gets her husband to fly through the time vortex with her. It's absolutely ridiculous. Altogether, this episode is just a little bit stupid. Number 12, Last Christmas. So here we have Santa Claus in a Doctor Who episode, which is a very interesting concept, and I think Nick Frost does a very good job in the role, but apart from that, this episode is a bit weird. Now, I don't mind the whole alien sort of thing. It's very much like Alien. You've got the facehuggers. It is a little bit of a rip-off, let's be honest, but there is actually a really funny moment in there which is kind of, quoting Alien, the bit where the Doctor's like, "Alien, I can't believe it, no wonder you get invaded all the time." Such a funny line by Peter Capaldi, I absolutely love it. But apart from that, this episode is just a little bit weird. I don't mind the first 20 minutes of it, but then especially when they start getting into the dream sequences, and really towards the end where it turns out that there's a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream, and it just gets a little bit repetitive for me. On the whole, I think if this wasn't a Christmas special, it would be okay, especially if they took out the whole dream, dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. A dream within a dream would have been fine, but I think they took it too far, and for me, it's just a little bit stupid, especially towards the end. Number 11, The Husbands of River Song. Now, this one had a lot to do. It had to completely finish off River Song's story, but then also lead her into her first ever appearance in the show in Silence in the Library with the 10th Doctor, and it did all that really well. The last 15 minutes of this one are, I think, amazing. With the Doctor and River at the Singing Towers, he gives her the sonic screwdriver. Really awesome stuff for the last 10 or 15 minutes, but the rest of it, I'm not really a big fan of. King Hydrofax as the villain, I don't mind pantomime villains, but I think Greg Davies, although a good comedian, I don't know if he really works in this. He's a bit too silly, and I just think altogether the whole concept's a bit weird. But the main thing that annoys me about this story is the fact that River doesn't compute that this is the Doctor. Now, yes, Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, was supposed to be his last incarnation, and she knows that, but there were so many hints there by the Doctor that it's ridiculous that she didn't understand, and when she just completely wasn't understanding, he should have just flat out said, "I am the Doctor, this is me." That just absolutely drives me insane with this episode. Number 10, Twice Upon a Time. It's Peter Capaldi's final story, and it's okay. I think I liked it more when I originally watched it. When I rewatched it yesterday, I wasn't as big of a fan. I thought it dragged quite a lot. The first Doctor who is in this story is really, I don't know, they try and make him more of the time, back in the 60s, he's a bit sexist, but it just doesn't come off as very good. It just comes off as annoying, and he comes off as a bit of an asshole. The whole story, I think, is okay with the whole memories, the testimony thing, but all in all, it's not particularly rewarding, and yeah, it's just a bit of a dull story in my opinion. A nice fun watch, don't get me wrong, but there isn't a lot of action, there isn't a lot happening, and I mean, bringing back Rossi the Dalek I think was okay, but why they brought him back I don't really know. Yeah, a little bit of a weird one. I can enjoy this one, but it definitely has some big flaws. Number 9, The Time of the Doctor. Now, people seem to have pretty differentiating opinions on this one. Some people really love it, some people aren't the biggest fan, and I'm kind of in the middle with it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Firstly, Was this a good send-off for Matt Smith's 11th Doctor? I don't know, I thought it was okay. I really don't like the Dalek, eye stalk thing coming out of people's heads. I wasn't a big fan of that in Asylum of the Daleks. I don't like it here. I don't like it when it returns in Magician's Apprentice. I just think it's really cringy and it just looks absolutely stupid. Doesn't seem like something the Daleks would really do in my opinion. Yeah, just don't really like that. I think the whole thing with the Doctor defending the Christmas, planet, which turns out to be Trenzalore, yeah, it's okay as a concept, but I think it drags on a bit, and it's just a bit boring, in my opinion. He's just kind of there, fighting off all these monsters. I mean, God, you've got a wooden Cyberman, like, what is that about? This is an exciting one to watch, but when you kind of delve into what is happening and, what's going on in the plot, it has some issues. Altogether, though, I don't mind it. Number 8. The Return of Dr. Mysterio. Yeah, I do actually think this is the best Peter Capaldi 12th Doctor Christmas special. I think Peter Capaldi definitely got the worst end of the Christmas specials, I really do. But in my opinion, this is actually the best one. That's not saying it's great though, because it has its issues. Firstly, I think this one is pretty slow at times. It really needs to get going a bit. But then I think when we do have the Shoal, who are these creatures, they're these brains, and I think the brains, although a little bit funny looking with the CGI, I think the concept, how the people, they like slice their head in half, pull their head open like a hinge, like a door hinge, and then they have these brains inside, they can conceal guns and stuff inside there. I think it's a pretty cool concept, it's pretty creepy. And altogether, when the Shoal were actually on the screen, I thought it was pretty interesting stuff. The whole superhero thing actually worked better than I thought it would. I was really, thinking, oh god, what are they going to do with superheroes in Doctor Who? But it actually worked pretty well. I think if this episode was a bit better paced, it would actually be pretty good. Number 7. The Christmas Invasion. So we have the first Russell T Davies era, David Tennant era Christmas special on this list, and as you can probably tell, I like these ones a lot more. But yeah, Christmas Invasion is my least favourite, which is the first one, and purely because, David Tennant is his first appearance, and I think he should have been on the screen more. I don't mind him, post-regeneration, having this whole thing where he's tired and, he's just trying to, get rid of the regeneration energy and stuff. I don't mind that as a concept, but I just think that he needed to be on screen more, especially because when he does come on screen, especially at the end where he comes out of the TARDIS and he fights the Sycorax leader, he absolutely smashes it out of the park, and we needed more of that throughout the whole episode. I think Rose, Mickey, Jackie, Harriet Jones, they do a very good job of stealing the show, but ultimately it would have been more interesting with David Tennant, the Doctor there. The Killer Christmas Tree I actually don't mind, and the Santa robots I don't mind either. They're not great, but yeah, this one's pretty good, I think. Number 6. A Christmas Carol. Alright, A Christmas Carol is one of the better Matt Smith and just all-around Stephen Moffat Christmas specials. It's actually his first Christmas special, and he did pretty well with his first one. Basically, it's a retelling of A Christmas Carol, the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present and Future, and I think it's actually done very well. I really do like the character of, oh god, I've forgotten his name, Sol something, I don't know, Salazar, is that his name? I might be getting that completely wrong. It's something like that. I really do like that character, and I like what they're doing with this episode. Yes, it's a bit samey after a while, but I do quite enjoy it. I like how, he, as a kid, he's really enjoying what they're doing every Christmas, but then when he gets older, he's like, yeah, this is kind of getting a bit old, and the person that we're with here, who turns out to end up being his lover, she's dying. She can't do this anymore, so altogether, I actually do quite enjoy this one. Number 5. The Runaway Bride. So we've got David Tennant's second Christmas special, the second Christmas special of them all, and this one's pretty good. I don't mind it. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the Robot Santas returning. I don't think it makes much sense that, we had these Robot Santas with the Sycorax, and then apparently the Rachnos has the same robots. I don't really know how that works. I don't know what they were doing there, but especially, 1 year after the other, it doesn't really work for me. However, I still don't mind it. The Rachnos herself is a pretty decent villain, but ultimately the performance is let down a little bit by the fact that, the character's kind of talking like this, and it's a little bit annoying. But ultimately though, I really like the stuff here. I love the stuff, where the Doctor's at the party, and he's got the music's playing, and he's, thinking about Rose, because obviously this is right after Doomsday. Really good stuff there, and I love Donna Noble. I love how she, tells the Doctor that you can stop now when he's drowning the Ragnos. Really, really good stuff in this one. Number 4, the Snowmen. So yeah, this has to be by far my favourite Stephen Moffat era Christmas special, and I don't really know why. There's just something about it that I quite enjoy. I like the great intelligence, the guy who plays the, the guy who's kind of being, manipulated, I suppose, taken over by the great intelligence. I think he does an amazing job. The snowmen themselves are a bit unnecessary. They don't really do anything, but I don't mind them. Then you've got kind of the glass monster, which I think is once again okay. There's just something about this version of Clara which I actually do quite like. The later version of Clara that we get, I'm not the biggest fan of, but this version I really do like. I wish she would have come into the TARDIS with the Doctor. I really like how at the start of this story, the Doctor just doesn't want anything. He's just lost Amy and Rory. He doesn't want to have anything to do with time travel. He's just staying up in his cloud, keeping out of it. Altogether, I just really love the feel of this episode. I like the Paternoster again quite a lot. I think Strax is pretty funny in this one. And altogether, I just really enjoy watching this one. Number 3, The End of Time. Yes, it is David Tennant's final story as the 10th Doctor, his regeneration story. And it's pretty good. I'm going to be honest, I don't really like the whole thing where the Master turns himself into everybody. I mean, obviously, yeah, the whole thing, the Master race instead of the human race, that's a pretty good little thing there. I like what they're doing there. But ultimately, I just don't like the animation in that when, the flickering thing, when he turns himself into everyone. I think it just really looks really cheap and shitty. But apart from that, I like the stuff with Rassilon and the Time Lords. I think that's really cool stuff. I like the moments with the Doctor and with the Master. I absolutely love Wilfred Mott. He's such an awesome companion, one of the best, especially considering, he was only a real companion for one story. And I mean, that bit at the end where, the Doctor decides whether he's going to shoot the Time Lords or shoot the Master, but he ends up shooting the machine, sending the Time Lords back, and then, the Master helps out the Doctor at the end. It's such an awesome moment, and I just really, really like a lot of the moments in this story. Number 2, The Next Doctor. I think this is a really underappreciated Christmas special, and to be honest, a really underappreciated Cyberman story. It's one of the best Cyberman stories of the new series, I think. I really do like this one. David Morrissey as Jackson Lake is really, really good. He is absolutely amazing in the role. I love him. He thinks he's the Doctor, but it turns out that he's actually not. He's just had this thing planted in him, basically, and it's manipulated his mind to make him think he's the Doctor, but he's actually not. I really love that. I love the moments with him and David Tennant. They're just so good. They have such good chemistry. The Cybermen, I actually think, are at some of their best in this one. How they're capturing the kids to make them work for them, and to get this Cyber King going. I really like the Cyber King. There's a lot that I really like about this one. Like I said, it is actually one of my favourite Cyberman stories. It probably is my favourite of the 3 Cyberman stories from David Tennant's run. So yeah, it's actually really, really good. I really enjoyed this one. Number 1, Voyage of the Damned. Yes, this is my favourite, and it honestly always has been. I absolutely love Voyage of the Damned. It's probably the Christmas special that I've watched the most, and altogether I just really like it. I really love Kylie Minogue playing, oh god, I've forgotten her character right now. What's her name? Astrid Peth, that's it. Kylie Minogue playing Astrid Peth. She does an amazing job at that. I really love all of the supporting cast in this one. I love how it's a fairly big supporting cast, but they all have their own things that they do. A couple of them die along the way. It's just some really good stuff. I think that the Heavenly Host are a pretty decent villain, very reminiscent of the robots, the Vok robots from Robots of Death. I just really like it all. We're on the Titanic in space, which is a ridiculous concept, but it works, and it works really well. I mean, I think the villain at the end, the guy in the kind of remote control wheelchair thing, not remote control, you know what I mean, he's a bit pantomime and a bit silly, but apart from that, this episode is honestly really good. Alright, so there we have it. That's my current ranking for the 13 Christmas specials that we have at the moment. Of course, this is my opinion. I should have really said that at the beginning of this video. This is completely my opinion. You guys are bound to have different opinions to me, but please be respectful to me and to everyone else in the comments. In the comments, how would you rank the Christmas specials? What's your favourite? What's your least favourite? I would really love to know. Even if it's completely opposite to mine, I still respect your opinion, and you should respect mine as well. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.